Okay then, Puppetmasters of the Jyhad, chapter something or other, more than 20, less than 30. I'll know once I've published the backlog.
Look, one day the backlog will be put on.
So, Epic, I think you wanted to have a quick chat with the Nazis right
Oh no, this
after
was
the...
not going to be a quick chat. I actually thought about exactly what would happen, and I think this is gonna get bit worse than well, worse slash better. Depends on perspective, as usual.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, what's the plan? I need to
We're gonna
figure
have a
out the time.
Primogen meeting
Ah,
immediately.
see. Okay then.
As in, I'm going to tell Kurt we need to have a Primogen meeting now. We'll find a room.
Right at the Elysium?
Yep.
Okay. I think the Justicar is probably gonna find out about that in short order and insist on attending.
I was going to invite her.
Mm-hmm. In that case, I think each of the Primogen could bring like one person. Was the rule so far?
Don't matter. We're just trying to make this not a super public thing. Just a semi-public thing,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. Otherwise, this would have just occurred where everyone was.
Okay. Let's see. Right, Lambert still ain't here. Someone needs to prod Lambert. Check Lord.
Lambert's going to be late.
Ah. Okay.
I left my cattle prod. I'll need to go outside to grab it.
So, effectively, let's set everyone up. Bacon, Demi, you're both definitely part of this. Except, if this is happening immediately, Demi is still out.
Probably, yeah, actually.
Yep, probably for a bit.
Never mind then.
Sorry, Debbie. Can't wait
Gangrel,
too long. Can't really wait on this.
Walda. Then we have Andy wherever I put him. Again, there he is. I'm missing the Tremere, cause everyone keeps forgetting about them. Actually, Andy's gonna invite Mitchell in, rather than Billy. Because this seems like a... oh yeah, this is gonna be interesting kind of situation. The Tremere. Did Justin get woken at some point? I think he did. By Demi, if I... as in the fledgling, the shooter Toreador. The hunter.
Toreador. I don't remember him stating so, but I'm pretty sure he was awake at some point.
Okay. So yeah, she's just gonna sit quietly in the corner with Vinita and observe. Everyone else is still discussing the glorious party, for the most part.
Yes. Everyone else could go discuss that glorious party. How wonderful it was.
I mean, Kurt is, when he comes in, just casually gonna slam a shotgun down on the table. He's had enough of this bullshit. Actually, Waldo will bring Byron. Just in case. She has a loaded weapon too.
That's fine. Although, why everyone has loaded weapons in Elysium, I will ask later, but...
They know the city too well by now. Don't think we're missing anyone, but who would have Andrew brought for a show of strength? Probably Marcella, because she has ties to elsewhere.
I have, yeah, definitely, okay. So, what exactly kind of boon was given for the show tonight?
Everyone kind of just rotated towards the Nosferatu. She just shrugs, says it was just a straight up deal. Little demonstration in exchange for his ghoul.
What was the issue with his ghoul?
Well, we had to spend several days getting him off. He murdered a police officer. As far as we can tell, managed to get himself arrested.
Do remind me, what did I tell you about causing issues with the Toreador?
You told me to not fuck with Elysium.
I actually didn't say fuck with Elysium, but...
That's how she interpreted it.
Well, that's not what I said at all. I said not to mess with the Toreador while we're going through these times of crisis. But even in that case, you are aware that you did mess with the Keeper of Elysium.
She just has this look of what the fuck on her face. She just completely not getting how she might have gone against your wishes. Well, Demi, it looks much like someone else's what the fuck face, except there's more scaling and weeping sores than just lizard skin.
I have a question for the rest of the Primogen here. Has anyone during this time of crisis seen any of the Nosferatu? Have they been helping keep in communication with those that are more hidden around the city?
There's a lot of shrugs at this. Michelle's actually gonna speak up. We've spent a lot of time and effort keeping track of the rioters.
I will remind you, requested that you stop bothering with the rioters and try to keep everyone in the city communicated on the vampire side. The kindred side, correction.
And you wanted me to make sure that no one was getting completely fucked as I understood it, and they weren't. Just because I didn't reveal myself doesn't mean I didn't stop by and check. So like people are
wanted
getting burned out of
open-
their houses.
I wanted open communication for some form be happening among the kindred, so that everyone could try and keep somewhat up to date on what kind of news is going around.
The curfew was in full effect for what, 2 nights? Sure, we started working on setting up a system, but by the time we were ready to make use of it, it wasn't necessary anymore because we could move during nighttime.
Somebody's angry.
Actually, she's really not very angry. She's actually just super disappointed and frustrated.
Oh, you're not the only one.
You have gone against what I have said against the unity of this city, and as far as I can tell, your efficiency at trying to help with it, most things in this city, including, of course, when I requested that you try and keep an eye on the rioters, which you did have information on their leaders and such, has been most aggravating.
Really? Because I'm herding 2 fledglings, a sadistic moron down there, and someone who only want to make traps. I cannot do the job of a whole clan alone. And I have to control the rest of these fucks. I think you have, frankly, unrealistic expectations.
So, are you saying that the Nosferatu clan cannot help with the issues in which the city finds itself?
I think she's starting to roll self-control at this point. Spending willpower on that. Just takes a slow, deep breath. And continue in a forced, calm tone of voice. Vivian, I have been trying to help you. And I even got the fuck-ups ghoul back. You have a whole clan with people who have obfuscate and auspex and who have an uncanny ability to get in touch with each other. They are running around doing whatever, while we're expected to keep everyone in touch, know everything, and effectively all of that is on 3 vampires, because one of them is defending the warren and keeping it secure. How many mouths are in the city?
This meeting for such an issue. I have called this meeting because of the failure and the flagrant disregard that your clan have been showing in the city for peace or unity. Take your pick. If your clan truly cannot find some way to unify themselves and take care of some of their responsibilities as they come, then I do not know why we have you on a primogen seat.
Gonna slowly stand up, incline her head to you. Alright. We'll be back once there's a different prince. Always say, we're leaving.
He just nods to the prince.
And they walk out.
Going to give them a chance to try and themselves back in order, but if that is their choice.
Once you hit the bottom floor, she just, in a whisper, tell you, Bacon, you know, we might need to raid a few warehouses. And if
He
anyone
gives a
comes
thumbs
into
up.
our territory, fuck them.
That's how things should be.
Being white people, colonial fucks, as good as plantation owners, work your ass off. Support their bid for power and then you get this. Now fuck that little bitch. Fuck her. Let's go home.
Suppose with this, the Nosferatu Primogen seat now stands empty. Is there anything else anyone wanted to bring up?
Andy is gonna train around and look up at Mitchell. He's gonna speak up. Vivian, I hear that Mitchell has been doing some good work on getting the independents to present a unified front, and perhaps he could take the empty seat for the moment.
I would not personally mind such a thing. The only thing I would worry about would be the ramifications for such a thing with the rest of the Camarilla. But if everyone would be willing to agree to it, I will see what we can make sure to arrange in that case.
Kurt and Andrew are gonna immediately nod. Walda is just gonna shrug, and Leonard is gonna pause for like 2 seconds and gonna nod, and the gangrel, whatever his name, doesn't really give a... Daniel doesn't give a fuck either, so he just shrugs as well. Doesn't seem like there's any strong opposition.
Who have voted for it?
Leonard, Kurt, Andrew, and Andy, since he's, well, bringing it up.
So basically, actually a good majority then.
Yeah, it's 4 approve and 2 effectively abstain.
And yeah, we will see about bringing Michelle in as the new primogen for showing the face of the independence in the city.
Just gonna nod and she's just gonna casually walk around and sit down in the empty seat. Gonna stand up, wipe his pants, look at his hand with a long-suffering expression and slowly sit down again.
So with this, if the Nosferatu causes further issues, we may have to take further action. Unless anyone has a particular about it.
Kurt is gonna glance at the Justicar and he's just gonna say, Vivian, I am very much against going down there. I had a glimpse of what they've already laid down there. It's a fucking death trap.
Of course, I already know everything they got down there. Didn't say anything about causing an assault. I said about further action. I suppose with them for leaving their seats, the Nosferatu have also given up their rights to the domain of infrastructure. That's what happens when you lose representation.
That's not necessarily what the expectation would be, but effectively, them leaving the council seat means that they can be challenged for it, so they're gonna have to fight to hold on to it in practice.
Practice, yes. Just making sure it is aware that they are no longer supported by the rest of the city in their claims of the infrastructure. Just like any other claims, basically.
Okay, so the Nosferatu are defecting en masse to the Anarchs.
En masse is a
En masse,
little
5 of them,
extreme.
truly.
Oh,
Actually,
safe.
I think Nosferatu need to make a vote, and maybe we choose the Sabbath. It's fun.
All the way, yes, you know.
They don't. They have one gator.
Give the Gators the territory.
They're definitely not godly. I guarantee you that. Oh well. Back to the thing. With that handled, anything else? Michelle, do you have anything requests? Any needs? What's going on with if you happen to know anything about the independents?
Not much other than a rundown of who I have on board. No, Justin, no! You're gonna stay with your daddy. Most everyone has agreed to get on board, other than some of the older ones that are visiting. I believe Camilla wanted to stay on her own. Torbrad is, of course, still missing, and other than that, I think Vicky was a bit ambivalent. She might prefer to stay with your clan for the time being. Everyone else
I'm
is
fine with it.
on board.
Okay. I suppose that will conclude this Primogen meeting. As long as everyone is dealing all right with the current situation and such.
I will want a word in private,
Have a
if you
pleasant-
don't mind, afterwards. I have a request to, that's of a private nature.
Of course, do not mind. Have a pleasant evening, everyone.
Okay. Everyone's gonna start filtering out. Will the Justicar.
You know what's hilarious? I never really thought about it, but you're right. The Nosferatu have just shit all as far as, decent members.
That's what happens when you freeze them out for 3.5 years and then expect them to catch up in 2 weeks.
I mean, who freezed them out? I didn't notice anything about freezing them out, but
Well, from their point of view, there were two big blocks. There was the Tremere, went through Toreador, and then there was the Gangrel Mouse Bruja, with the Bruja kind of in the middle, and they were off to one side with both sides kind of ignoring them.
Hilariously enough, that is true.
I will be brief, Vivian. I have been working towards this for several years, and honestly, Alan's decision kind of screwed things up for me. So I'm gonna ask you, because you seem more understanding in a way than Alan was. I would like to pick a child in the coming months, and I want your permission.
If I may ask, why did Alan have an issue with this? You happen to know?
Well, you know my unfortunate flaw on top of the ventral curse, that I do not cast a reflection, and my coincidental command of shadows. Alan
Yes,
had a
completely coincidental.
problem trusting me because of that.
I haven't seen you cause any issues in the city so far.
And I would hope that what I did in Houston has proven my loyalty to the Camarilla.
I mean, I don't see any issues with it really. I, hmm, wrong place to do that. So I'll keep quiet on that front. But if you don't mind, I would like to actually just talk to you for a little while. But you can consider the permission granted.
Thank you. I will start working on picking out an appropriate candidate. Probably gonna take some time, so there's plenty of chance for us to talk.
Vivian wanted to actually really discuss why he's bothering hiding his clan, but she didn't want to do it in Elysium.
There's like 6 people outside all listening, trying not to make eye contact with each other.
So, yes. But she really doesn't actually see an issue with this particularly. So, the telepathy isn't very good for that kind of just asking what's going, why he doesn't want to reveal his clan. That would more
Fair
likely
enough,
end
yeah,
up
'cause
with
it's direct.
weird, yeah. It helps with a lot of things, but this is a conversation. This is supposed to be a conversation, not trying to gain secrets or something. All right, I suppose that's over for that part.
Right then. Okay. Gregory. You have been outside in the party. First you saw all the Primogen and some other notables leave to have a private meeting on their own. And a little while later, the 2 Nosferatu who were in there storm out, taking every single other Nosferatu with them.
All 3 of the others?
Well, there's a total of 6 Nosferatu. 2 of them were in the
Okay.
meeting.
All 4 of the others?
Yes, all 4 of them.
Wow.
Don't worry, the entire Nosferatu clan is no more. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to try to solo the Nosferatu clan. That sounds like a bad idea. Let's just wait patiently.
Too long after that, they start filtering out. And, yeah, most of them are gonna ignore you. The Jessica throws like a curious glance in your direction as she passes, then just ignores you.
Yay! Somebody didn't make the DC whatever check in terms of Casiad. But
She
yeah.
can probably guess what you are. It's just a... Can ask about it later, but you're probably
Yeah.
supposed to be here, so probably
Yeah.
not too much of a problem.
I mean, given the rest of the stuff here, it's fine. It's fine. Nothing gone wrong.
And yeah, most of them are gonna filter out. Looks like Vivian and Mitchell stayed behind.
Hopefully that's good. Not Vivian deciding to eat Mitchell. Though Mitchell deciding to eat Vivian would make the next meeting much shorter.
Mitchell is
non-existent.
one of the few that might get through Dougal just cause tentacles.
Yeah.
Right, he didn't get alpha'd. And yeah, eventually they are gonna come out as well. Who is actually gonna head over to you?
Hey, Mitchell, not Dougal. Good. Because Dougal would be.
Yeah,
It's like Dougal decides, we're like, you're dead now, mate. I've had enough.
Gregory. Good news. I'm on the council.
Oh, that is very good news. So,
Probably
I'm
gonna have
slightly-
to look into arranging a place where all the independents can regularly meet, but overall, these are good.
Have the Tremere, not Tremere, have the Toreador already bought up the rest of this building? I'm asking Mitchell as a suggestion.
I honestly don't know. I think Jimmy might be able to figure out if he spends some time on it, but it's not that important. I did see some repair work downstairs, so either the current owner is really on the ball or they're working on fixing this place.
Hmm. Oh well, so not perfect timing, but good timing nonetheless. Is there anything
Probably want to discuss about claiming another neighborhood at some point. But
Of course.
that is best to wait with that.
Of course. Of course, my Primogen.
So, Toreador and the Tremere getting along these days.
To some extent, there is a large amount of mistrust still, and the Tremere have rather than. Well, it's not just the Tremere. The issue with werewolves seems to be Vivian got informed about it, and I haven't ever seen anyone so accepting of werewolves in an Elysium. Not this one yet.
Yeah,
But
I'm aware that there's been several incidents where they've marked the trees to show Gangrel that they know where we meet. It's like the thing with the Russians. It's like a Cold War with these fuckers constantly.
yes, that that one tried to breach the wards of the Chantry while the prince was in it was apparently less concerned than alcoholic beverage.
It's a look of concern on his face. Right. Well, the Nosferatu, and I'm paraphrasing because they did not use language like this in front of the Justicar, essentially told that the prince could go fuck themselves and they would support the next prince.
Right. And the werewolves really do not like the Nosferatu.
I think they'll be fine, but it will do.
It
Look
might
into
be
the
useful
situation.
if they weren't fine. two birds, one stone. So, I
Just
mean, it
glances
depends on.
around and just gives you a wink. Nods slightly.
I'll see what I can mention to the Premier about solving
He
their
just
situation
raises
and
a
since it's in
finger
one.
and just. We should talk about this in a more secure location, but
Of course.
making friends is something I always liked, and it does seem like the new thing that Torador and Tremere have could use a third wheel to help balance things out.
Yes, they don't seem to be able to get on without some level of intermediary.
Well, you're already positioned to help with that, and you could easily segue into bringing more of us, more independent-minded folk, into that little arrangement.
Yes. Yes, and with working to do with the slight werewolf issue, it's Vicky who's the Zmishi, right?
Yes, yes.
There's a possibility for Vicky to give some use which the Tremere lack the ability to deal with in terms of magical assistance, but she's not fully on board with.
I'd be careful. You know how Zimitzi and Tremere are with each other. There's a lot of bad blood. I'd be careful.
Yeah. But if there was any particulars who might be able to render assistance, I will keep you updated with exactly what their needs are, so you can.
Well, if they are having a friendly conversation, making plans, seeing how various groups could cooperate, maybe drop my name. See if you can convince them to invite me along.
Of course, of course.
No? I was a bit doubtful of you when you first came in. For obvious reasons, but you've really been working out, Gregory. I appreciate it.
I appreciate as well, my Primogen, and I appreciate that I can now call you my Primogen as well.
Yes,
Being an independent without one.
it is a nice change. Such a shame that the Nosferatu don't have any friends right. But they'd really want one.
Yes. Going. Oh god.
It's an interesting political situation.
Yes. But I shall.
Oh. Do be careful. The Justicar will probably want to talk with you. Just, be honest and tell her like it is. We're not doing anything wrong. We just want the city to prosper and have the best possible leadership.
Yes. Of course. And there. I don't really have anything to add. It's just, yes, of course.
Yeah, this has been a very good. A very good night indeed.
To properly celebrate it when everything has died down slightly, and Nosferatu would not take that as just a red flag to a bull. Red rag to a bull? Red rag to a bull. Oops.
And yet, that is a concern. Don't want to provoke them into doing something desperate.
Don't want them to provoke them to doing something desperate and taking you as an enemy rather than
All the
Ooh,
specifics.
Start counting out on fingers without actually saying the names of the different factions they're not quite as. Is there 4?
We'll discuss the
5?
details.
Of course.
I have
Hopefully soon in
yeah, I have
a
taken the precaution of arranging an appropriate venue, volunteer to front the costs, and give us a chance, all us independents, to meet as a group and mingle. Especially now that we have a seat.
Yes, and lets us all contribute commonly and then gain commonly from it.
So,
I'm just going to try and continue the conversation as long as possible to not kind of being called into the Prince death conversation. Just
Too bad.
Don't
I'm
wo-
grabbing Kurt as we speak and then telling him, yeah, make sure just in
grabbing-
case things go down.
oh, for
Need you
fuck's
nearby.
sake. Damn it, Kurt. What do you think I'm gonna do? Just go, yeah, I'm just gonna kill you, but kill you, boy.
what is actually
I'd
gonna...
like to
Three
point
points.
out you're a Kia seed, and Vivian is very, very fragile and can die to even regular vampires easily.
What is gonna walk up to two of you?
I might accidentally kill you with
Exactly.
Observation 1, but that will be the most ironic death of a prince ever.
It reducing stamina to 0 temporarily would not kill a vampire. How it works.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
even
but
torturing
it's
them,
hilarious.
that's specifically if you do it with quite a stew. It just removes their soak and fucks them on any stamina roll.
That's both good to know and sad at the same time.
Still is gonna, once there's natural break in conversation, notice Kurt turn towards him. Kurt's gonna just interject with Mitchell, if you don't mind, I would like to borrow Gregory for a few moments. The prince wishes to speak with
Of
Oh no, I
course.
arranged this for her back at the tower.
Oh god.
We're having
mean,
both
oh-
Kia seed come, remember?
Ah,
Yes,
yes.
I know.
already
we're having
set this
both
up.
Kia seed. Isn't the other Kia seed actually here? No,
She is.
Yes,
She
you're
is.
both coming back to the tower.
Yes.
Gregory, I'll give you a ride. When you're ready.
Is that Mitchell saying it or Kurt saying
That's Kurt. Pamela's already downstairs. So, we're just waiting on you.
I mean, well, we shouldn't keep the prince waiting then.
Yes, we shouldn't. It'd be a damn shame. And, yeah, Kurt is gonna... It's gonna be awkward, because Kurt probably suspects you've been in the middle of things, being sneaky around the edges, even if he doesn't know anything specific, but you've effectively been out of his sight, doing things where he wasn't looking, and that's suspicious by itself. So, I think it's gonna be like one of his ghouls in the driver's seat, then Pamela in shotgun, and you two in the back with him just looking at you the entire way.
Okay, then there's going to have to be conversation. There's going to have to be conversation, and there's going to have to be the most awkward yet possible thing to start asking him.
He has like his shotgun leaned against his
Please,
leg as
Casey,
well.
don't actually get on that badly with it. Okay, fine. It's not. God. Not that bad. Most of the time. Generally, just don't leave us a couple of
just-
years near each other, otherwise it goes bad.
Yeah, I hear it generally is don't leave you with like a few hours with each other either, but
It's not
Depends
that
on
bad,
how bad-
Epic.
Depends on how much on what topics you disagree. That Pamela has a different interest makes it so much easier for them to get on. If you have a similar interest and a slight
Yes.
disagreement, it goes tits up.
If
Why
she
can't you just let
preferred,
us be-
if they were both trying to alchemize the blood, and one of them preferred werewolf and the other changeling, then you'd be in for a fucking war. They'd both be making armies of ghouls and shovelheads already.
I mean, it could be more than that. One could think that you need to drain the werewolf upside down. One drains it the werewolf the right way up, and that could cause a war.
No, you tap it at the ankle! At the fucking ankle!
Yeah.
So, Gregory,
It's just
what have you been up to?
mostly trying to navigate the rather charged situation here. That the Tremere were rather friendless in the city, despite the situation internally having changed for them. They were fairly happy to have someone who saw them not as sorry.
I
Well,
am
actually coughing.
quite aware of what the Tremere were seeing, and just between us, it was all, and not just by. Though he was the biggest contributor to be.
They do see, at least now, they seem to be more focused on distancing them as far from that as possible, knowing who is.
I'm sure
Right.
they are. Just keep in mind, William was
course, of
all
course.
polish on the surface as well. He was an asshole once you got to know him and gave him a chance to screw you. You know.
Actually, yes, of course. It matches his painting as well. It was all polish on the surface. It looked a bit weird to me. That's all.
Oh, you mean the one that was in his office?
They
Oh,
have
you
removed it,
didn't
yes.
see him sitting at that desk trying to replicate that expression as he was looking at you.
I'm glad I have not. But yes, that is for the and working with them and the Toreador to try to, given the New Elysium is kind of in progress and everything. They
Okay.
were unwilling to work together without a little bit of, and then naturally,
Okay.
the Tremere were very happy to have somebody who
Gregory.
saw them.
Gregory.
Yes.
Here's the thing.
Yep.
You getting the Tremere out of that chantry and actually being useful to the city? Give them a few friends. That's fine too. By all means. It gives them motivation not to fuck off and abandon us or cause
Set
trouble.
the city on fire.
Gets them invested. But I now know that you are an important figure over there, building bridges and all that. Which means that I can tell you personally that I want this fucking feud between the Nosferatu and Toreador to die. Okay?
I look slightly. Gregor looks slightly quizzical. Which do you mean them to make up, or do you mean for one of them to, one or more of the clans
I
as is currently
mean,
to be?
don't pour a fucking drop of gasoline on it.
Of course.
I'm gonna be unhappy if I find out that you have been doing that, okay? You'll have a few Malks to talk to in regards to this.
Heck, I don't even know the Malik had anything to do with it. How does he know that?
It's about the entire other. Yeah.
The Malks didn't tell you or Walda. Some of them just thought it would be funny.
So hoping that some amends are made then.
Gregory.
I'm wanting to just be perfectly clear on the...
Okay, I'm trying to be perfectly clear. It's a stinking pile of shit. Put your stick down and don't poke it.
Wow. Good job. I think you're managing to piss off the sheriff.
I mean, I'm not going to do any of the stuff now that the sheriff has said. I only floated the idea to the fucking Primogen. Damn it.
Don't worry, we've only just met Gregory. You can still convince me that you're not a fuck-up. Just don't fuck up.
That is what I've been endeavouring to do. Have, given what seems to be happening in the city here at the moment.
Good. Well, gonna be
And
I'm gonna show
do go
you
on.
the way. The print should already be here.
of course, and just as a note, if this isn't to a level of trying to get on a good side superficially, but with how hectic the nights have been, I am more than willing to lend a pair of hands to help in any way I can to restore order or anything. I assume doing it just of my own initiative wouldn't have helped and would have made a mess, but you, Sheriff, and therefore offering directly to you.
Give me a charisma leadership roll on that. It would probably be at a 6. Because you don't have anything to really help raise it beyond that.
Yeah, unless just Spooky Tentacles raises it, which Spooky Tentacles do not tend to raise things unless they pick them up.
Just nods.
Good roll.
I
Yeah,
I
I'm
appreciate that. How about this? You help convince the Toreador to tone down any efforts they might be planning to take revenge for what happened. De-escalate things up. I might have a hound spot open. If you're interested.
Which is very generous. And yeah, given how the situation is, yes, that's. I shall try my best, and at the very least, I shall not fuck up.
Good. And he takes you to the elevator.
Woo. Now we get to have sweet elevator music piped over the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, the elevator just instant. Oh no, that's not me. Toot, 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 toot. Nobody can.
And I asked Dougal if he can see about, you know, being invisible, possibly, just in case things go down. See if he's just ready for action if something happens.
Okay.
Please, he could just be standing behind a pot plant and I couldn't see him with my perception.
He's gonna lean his claymore against the wall where he can just grab it, because he can't obfuscate with it drawn, and he's gonna obfuscate in the corner.
Just mustn't accidentally steal sword.
If you try that, Dougal leaps at you.
Yeah, that would go badly on a number of levels.
Okay. Gonna you in.
I was expecting him to have a little more tactics, like being behind where people will face the desk, but that's fine.
I mean, it's Dougal. He doesn't do tactics, he does giant claymore to the face. It works on enough vampires that tactics are unnecessary.
Well, he's not planning to. Here's the thing.
Whatever he wants to do, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Well, he's not planning to go for the kill so much as make sure that he's between you and harm. That's the first priority.
Ah, okay.
So he has to be close.
Welcome, Gregory, Pamela.
My prince, and I will bow.
Bows as well.
Not curtsying? Yeah.
Vivian just
Mm.
looks like she's well, whatever you want to do. Uh, so Gregory, particularly on your part, I've noticed you, especially when you were trying to talk to me, as well as some of the things I've been seeing you do over the last few days. It seems odd. So I've asked both you and Pamela here to try and do a quick question down real fast, just to see if anything's going on.
Of course, my prince.
Pamela, I do not believe you to have. I do not have any particular suspicions on anything you have been doing or anything. Thank you for your
Yes, and have
contributions
you?
to the city.
Yes, and thank you very much for
I
the
wasn't talking to
explanation
you.
of the city politics. No, I'm talking to I'm talking. You stopped, and I was talking to Pamela.
Oh, okay. Sounded like a response to me.
I said yes, my prince, and then I was waiting to actually you finished the thing with Pamela to talk to Pamela, and then saying thank you for the introduction to the city and explanation of the different actions and natures of the there. And is it manipulation subterfuge to get across a subtle message, or that's not that subtle, is it?
What is the
No.
message you're trying to get across?
I remember exactly what Pamela told me about Vivian. It was not very positive.
Ah, you probably don't have to roll. She's not exactly stupid. She knows to be
She's
careful
not.
here.
Yes, and it's not going as far as making this a threat, but more making it a yeah.
Please, please, please be quiet.
Yes, it's more for kind of yeah.
I'll let
Mutually,
you.
let's
I'll
not
let
fuck
you
either
make
of us
that
over.
a manipulation expression roll. See how well you get that idea across.
Let's fuck this up then.
You have a reasonable. Should be okay.
Yeah. Difficulty 6.
Yes.
Hey, that was close. Thank you, ones.
Pamela is gonna kind of
Oh,
look
wait.
between the two of you. She's gonna say, "What is this about, actually? Been kind of out of thought, given everything."
Gregory has taken a very deep interest in ingratiating himself into the Tremere and the Toreador, helping them reconnect with each other. That's the official thing I've heard so far. Besides that, apparently he reported that werewolves went into Elysium and Gangrel ran away, and then I lost track of what else you were trying to say. You seemed panicked about it.
My reaction that my reaction is not quite the stoic acceptance of inevitable death by werewolves infesting our Elysium that others seem to have around here.
So yeah, just to see, you know, I mean, how to put this? I'm trying to. This is in character, by the way.
Yes.
So just to clarify, you did just run away. You didn't actually see the werewolves?
Oh no. No, the Gangrel ran away. I attempted to get in the car and they decided to manifest in front of me and try to have a chat.
Wait, you had a chat?
You couldn't get over the fact that it appeared in Elysium for me to point that out, and then werewolves started trying to get into the chantry.
What exactly did the werewolves chat with you about?
That there are at least 2 packs, that they are rather opposed, that that at least from their telling, they both have claims on a particular location, and I'll mention the location of the cairn that they told me about, and they claiming they were the ones sanctioned by you, and also saying they would tell me to find out if I talked to you about it. It would
Were
help
they
dealing with the other
sanctioned
ones.
by here?
I think they actually
Gregory.
broke down laughing halfway through trying to continue that claim. So,
Okay,
unless
so
there's been a subsequent change in relations, I think they're probably not the ones.
okay,
Though they were not
probably
the
not
ones
those.
who were outside the chantry. Those were unknown to me, at least, and could entirely possibly be the ones that the other ones were against and the ones you have sanctioned, or other ones they just look like furry monsters with magic powers.
Kurt is actually gonna speak up. Gregory, next time you run into him, first thing you do, call me. Let me know.
Inappropriate reaction.
It
helps when I'm informed.
Of course, my first information of that was to talk about to those who thought. I shall start from the beginning, and if the prince wouldn't mind me going over material I have already told her, because I'm not sure what she has passed on to you as part of the.
Haven't had much time. Not only that, it appears that what you told me wasn't even close to everything that had went down. As
You
I
kept
do not
getting
remember
stuck
you.
on the point of them being in Elysium. I'm not quite sure why the blood mead had such a large effect on you, my prince, but my attempt at going over everything was rather stymied by that and the appearance of werewolves. I shall make amends now by telling everything to everyone here, and again, I do beg your forgiveness for going over what I've already mentioned to Kurt, if that is acceptable.
Of course.
Thank you, Kurt. That's great. Right, the first interaction with things that probably are linked to werewolves was spying what would have been how to put it kind of a magical spy or sprite outside the chantry. Having then confirmed with the Tremere that was possibly them,
Lambert, if you are gonna just run through everything that happened, you don't need to recount every single detail. Just tell us if you're leaving anything out or changing anything.
The main thing is putting more of us. I don't know how I'm working it. It's working in terms of that it was the appropriate escalation with this seemed very much connected to the Tremere and their chantry, and therefore with conferring with them about that, then the next step there, and then
so essentially present it as
then bringing other people in.
Yeah, you were taking me to the owner of the domain
issue.
first. Okay.
It was this issue, and this is where it's got to escalation. This is the right point for bringing.
Okay. Kurt is just gonna reiterate. For future reference, werewolves are always.
Of course.
Yep. So.
And I think I just reloaded the page by hitting a button.
Whoa. Possible. There's a button for it, but so did you try and put any kind of real spin on some of these things or anything like that? Or did you just state everything as it happened to you?
Are you asking out of character or in character?
That's out of character.
I think. Yeah, I was just checking because that wouldn't be completely weird for a way of Vivi putting it.
Yeah.
Yes, that would
Okay,
be very
yeah.
weird.
yeah, also for me,
Yes, yeah,
particular
it's mostly
specifically
stating a
about
fact,
the nature of the pack that you spoke to
Yep.
and were chilling with.
As well as the
I will
deal that
mention
you were
that
trying
they
to
were-
make with them, stuff like that.
Yes, I will mention that in terms of that they offered a deal, and I was not going to say no in front of a bunch of werewolves. We're in the middle of a city park at night with the nearest help having just legged it. Naturally, any such agreement I would not consider honor bound to follow, but they probably would take a rather dim view on me not following it. However, I wouldn't want to go specifically against the prince's wishes on this. Hence this
Do
being
you
the
give a
point.
specific description of what these werewolves were like?
Even his perception
Callous and
rating
humane?
for women.
Yeah,
Maybe he remembers skin and hair color, but that's about it.
yeah. Callous and inhumane is the most level of actual description of what they're like, but physical appearance, human-ish. Probably it was dark. It was dark in a
That's hilarious.
park.
Okay, sounds like things really went down pretty well.
Given that I managed to not be eaten by werewolves, I'm glad you agree, my prince.
I'll look into that in a little bit. For the moment, of course, do not be taking action that would end up with us possibly at war with possibly multiple parties. Let's try and avoid that.
My meeting here with you, my prince, is technically in violation of what they wanted, and to a degree why it did not come automatically. Oh, 1 second.
We go to war with one party that had an issue with you taking a meeting with me about it. I suppose we'll have to cross that frontier. So,
Gregory, I have an idea. Why don't you include Billy Luna? He's a ventral. These plans
Sorry,
of
when I was
yours.
saying 1 second, I needed to actually go a second, so I didn't
Okay.
hear that.
Um,
Or any of the bit. Sorry.
Gregory, why don't you include Billy Luna in whatever you're planning with the Tremere and the werewolves and the capturing? He's a hound of mine. He'll know at what point it's best to inform me.
Of course, though the plans obviously wait upon making sure which is actually ones that are condoned by the prince and what level interaction with them.
Sure, the Tremere
Okay.
won't mind having him around. He's kind of decent at getting along with people. Hell, even the Bruja tolerate him half of the time, and he's a ventral.
okay. I suppose I will then go on to my mild suspicions of stuff that might have been going on.
Mild suspicions of stuff to do with the werewolves?
No. Onto a different subject. Might involve them. I don't know. Find out in a little while.
How many werewolves are there in this city? Damn it.
Quite a few.
At this point, I count 4 packs.
Then it is entirely possible. It was 1 pack that the agreement had been. You had made the agreement with.
Well, you don't know
We're in
in
negotiations
character.
with. Yeah. If you want to ask
Oh,
in
sorry. I
character,
thought that
that's
was. I
different.
thought that was Kurt being snarky,
Yeah,
not you
no.
being snarky. Sorry.
Oh, there's
We got a
still
lot of
more
werewolves,
coming.
man.
The crusade for the Chatry has begun.
Good
This
luck,
is
Tremere.
fine. This is fine.
I thought that was going to be next arc, but apparently we're doing it this arc.
No, that's gonna be
Everything-
next arc, but they're gonna be spending probably like the downtime recruiting more packs from neighboring cairns and beefing this one up in manpower.
Oh boy, that's gonna be cool. Oh well.
This is going to be great with a storm and everything.
But yeah, back
That's
into
when
the
they
Sar part.
attack. It was actually nature spirits unleashed against the Chantry. Storm's just collateral.
So, these are going to be questions for both of you, just to see what ends up being said. Have either you or Pamela taken action in which would be against the peace of the city or the fellow lives of your kindred?
Pamela slowly raised her hand. I tried to spy on the changelings and tried to get close to one to examine its memory with Dominate.
I
he
will
telling-
not consider that particularly against the peace. It
Is
did
he
not
telling the
particularly harm
truth?
anybody.
Yeah,
Just try and avoid, trying to kill them or anything like that. We have negotiations going on with them as well.
Is this
open to
similar to the
Gort?
negotiations with werewolves in which they walk into the... I'm sorry, Red Prince.
Kurt is gonna roll with self-control. You notice his arm just hit the wall ever so slightly. He manages to pull the blow, so it barely makes a sound, but that revelation did not please him, Epic. The fact that you're poking the
Wait, which one?
changelings, that is.
Oh. Poking them? I didn't poke them.
Mm-hmm.
Ascend, Kurt! Ascend! No, nobody
What?
here will hold it against you. Anyway.
Barely even talked to them. Barely negotiations at this point. Oh well. I'll explain that later.
So, I presume that you told me initially that any just poking supernaturals was to be discouraged.
I discourage actions in which would raise their ire.
Does this include a level of reciprocity?
Of course. No, that's why there is a general self-defense going on with all parties. Someone threatens you, self-defense is applicable.
Hell, I don't buy it. That's only for her friends.
Right. So
Okay, so Gregory, what about you?
I don't think, to my knowledge, but depending, it is in line with the planning with the werewolves and everything, and the reciprocity of them spying on and trying to breach into the chantry, and having had a pack of them appear around me. There's a level, and one of them shoot my head off slightly. There's a level with which, if you consider them to be fellow lives, that I have technically breached what you are. Oh, 1 second.
I think everyone would just look at Gregory rather weirdly with that long explanation.
So I'm trying to give a most
He's
accurate and
rolling
thorough-
bladder. Epic. Kurt can appreciate it. He's seen Billy do it. Nothing like overloading someone with lots of words, especially big ones.
So
No,
Gregory,
this is just how Gregory talks.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Kurt
no,
still
that is totally
appreciates it.
So Pamela, was any of that a lie?
He just shrugs. I'm sincere, I guess. Was I supposed to be checking?
I mean, I kind of figured you two would usually have those going on.
Makes my
Here, let me
nose
do it
itch.
again then. Gregory, Pamela, have either of you taken any actions in which would result in a threat to the peace and or your fellow kindred's unlives?
Bound just shrugs. I don't know. Seems like anything in the city can end up exploding. I have no fucking clue.
She's telling the truth.
Okay, let's put it another way. Have you done anything to intentionally cause damage that could deal with the peace and or fellow kindred's unlives?
Don't think either of us have
Oh, I
specifically
have.
broken
I
buildings.
supported Mitchell's bid for primogenship.
Oh yes, I helped him with that as well. Does that count?
I don't. Wait, him? Which one?
Mitchell's bid for you gave him primogenship less
That's
than
not
an hour
against.
ago, my
Yeah,
prince.
why would you consider that against the peace?
Wow, you really don't know Mitchell, do you?
I mean, any level
Barely.
of we have no. I am new to the city, though I, to a level, you'll trust and would like to actually have a primogen representing me. I can in no way guarantee to a level that Mitchell is only got your best interests and the interests of everyone at heart. Hell, I can't even do that for Thriller, or even if I try, even with myself. This I cannot guarantee to this level of that any of that my action of supporting him does not do damage to the city. It, to my mind, benefits me, benefits him, benefits the independence, and seems to benefit the city. But I do not know what the end result will be.
So your vote for primogenship was a possible plot in which it could deal with harm upon the peace of the city and possible death upon your fellow kindred's unlives.
Well, eventually.
Yeah, no,
I mean, we're not as skilled at predicting the future as you are, my prince.
or even
I
just
leave
any
that to the rest
Malkavian.
of the clan. I don't bother with that.
Yes, so 100 years down the line.
Kurt mutters something under his breath. Vivian, is Auspex running?
Yes.
He said, I don't think it's gonna take.
Well, the ones that voted for him. Jeez, I trust you, Kurt.
Kurt voting for him didn't mean he doesn't think he's going to try something. Kurt voting for him meant he thought that it was a better thing at the moment and everything, which
Yeah, sure.
possibly it is. It's kind of, yeah. Give it a downtime. Okay, fine. Yeah, we should get a betting pool for this out of character, but in character, yes. We can attest to that. We are not deliberately trying to.
Kurt smirks
sabotage.
and interjects while Gregory is still going on and on and on. At least he's not claiming to descend from Dracula.
That's true.
Okay.
Okay, so Gregory, from my understanding, you had a goal in which you were going to try and see about getting different types of blood within this city.
Yes.
With what I
so-
know of your clan, that heavily hints that you were going to attempt to gather blood from the various supernaturals in this city. Was this
yes,
incorrect?
At some point, or yes, it is.
Okay.
Again, this was going to be at some point that it took me less than 3 weeks before I was accosted by werewolves. The chantry was probed by werewolves, and
You hear a crack. Kurt looks at his fist as bits of the wall fall to the floor.
I was not planning to.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it.
$20 new wall.
But continuing on, so have you seen about enacting any plans, Gregory, upon which this would end up possibly harming either other supernaturals, our peace with the supernaturals, or other kindred? Yes or no?
He's going to look confused. Yes, the bit with the werewolves and the getting ready to possibly help the Tremere
I asked
deal
yes
with
or
them.
no.
I said yes as the start of the sentence, my prince. The bit with the
As per a
werewolves.
sentence.
That I can.
I'm starting to understand that I need to talk to you as if I am a judge upon trying to do a court case. So we'll start doing it that way.
That
Objection, Your Honor. There's no lawyer present.
That's the sheriff. Congratulations.
Kurt is actually gonna raise his hand. Vivian, how about we take that hour break we discussed as one of the rules now? I have a feeling that if there are any more such revelations, I might try to rip someone's head off. I haven't quite decided who.
Yeah, we can see about doing that. Thought that was a different thing, but that's fine.
Oh, he's definitely paying
Wait,
attention. I think this is a lesson as to why he doesn't want to kill Vivian for the job, actually. I think that's the plan here, at this point. Curtis
So
just...
we'll be back here in an hour. Do whatever you need to de-stress.
Okay, Curtis just gonna walk out past the both of you immediately.
I got a second office. Nah, I'm just kidding. I stay here.
I suppose your Scotsman has left his.
You can
What's the proper
wait.
word for it? Stick?
behind a shrub. How do you see that?
Oh no, he didn't put it behind a shrub. You're... Actually, do you have shrubs in the office?
Doesn't seem to have shrubs. It has shrubs in the other bits. Presuming that's the green things rather than just growths.
No, it's just growths.
Oh god, damn it!
Okay, I think this is a good place to take like 5 minutes, because I at least
have no
need
idea
a
what Vivian is
moment to decide how Kurt feels about this, because he would have an hour to process, and I'm not sure what conclusion he would come to.
Just comes in, kills everybody, leaves.
Didn't we agree to try and cut out some of the less likely scenarios for the sake of keeping players alive?
Basically, I think.
Yeah, and it's 1.5, I guess, in terms of guessing, and an NPC. And I mean, people have some love for Dougal.
I mean, look, Lambert is very much Gregory is very much frustrating Vivi because it's obvious you're trying to avoid saying particular things and going in long explanations about everything with the werewolves. I think she's gonna start saying excluding the situation with the werewolves.
Yes, that would have actually got us through this bit. Well done. This is just how he talks. This is a
How
completely
dare you
valid...
talk about the werewolves all the time? We need to get through this.
You keep asking about the werewolves, and then you were surprised about a bit about the werewolves because you asked too much about the werewolves starting bit before.
I said disregarding the werewolves. You forget that part.
Which time?
I know, right? See? Conversation.
Yeah, this is just...
Good job on the blathering, though.
That's just how he talks. This is just.
Blathering is a style of speech, yes. Good job. It's very apropos.
Just cat punches him. That was likely luck. I'm glad that was likely luck, not unlikely luck, because otherwise that would have been bad.
I think we're between 20 and 30 total dead sheets. A few people have died along the way.
Yes, a few. Yep, this is nothing like DeLuca. Nope.
This is like 20 or 21 by my rough count. The problem that the way Kurt sees it is that he doesn't have Auspex and a trusted Auspex user. And Dougal is somewhere nearby.
He's somewhere in here.
The problem is, you are still out cold till the end of that night.
It's honestly great that I'm Torpor because all of this interrogation's happening while I'm just out. Well, the city will have a new horrible disaster by the time I wake up, and I'll be fine.
Don't
I
worry,
mean-
it's normal.
Nosferatu quit. That could be a horrible disaster. I've been told not to poke it.
Also, Lambert, if you're gonna poke something, you just need to hit it really hard and then tell the prince it was a threat to national security.
No,
That's how
I'm
you
not
poke.
going to poke that bit. There were enough things which I'm apparently allowed to poke for me to poke a different one.
I think the way we'll do it is we'll circle through a couple of other scenes. And then we'll come back to this one. Because there are... That will give everyone time to process, and hopefully me as well, because I have no fucking idea what Kurt decides at the end of his walk. No fucking clue. Kurt has like 3 dominate, he's pretty decent at it. Nowhere near as good as you, Allied, but...
Yeah, secretly I've been dominating the entire, the prince, Kurt, and everybody else seeing those demons. They were, my enemies, werewolves.
Okay. So, shall we continue? Alright, we haven't stopped recording because I'm a retard. Never mind, all is well.
I mean,
I guess this is going on YouTube then.
When you confuse an NPC so hard it hits the ST. God damn it, you fuckers.
who's to blame here?
Honestly,
I think it's you, particularly.
That's you.
I think at this point I need to see just how well Kurt rolls on his conscience. It's not a botch.
No, it's not a botch. It was a fail, though.
It is a fail.
Something.
I mean, it wasn't like you did something, as far as I know. It was actually just some for him to make up his mind about something.
Okay, what would be Kurt's convictions? Pain teaches best. Order is a necessity. I could write these in. And probably something like be loyal to your gang. Because you're fucked if you don't. those would probably be Kurt's. Okay, well then. Give me a second. I will look up an appropriate picture for something.
It's gonna get closer, isn't it?
Oh, no, 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 no. Don't do that. That's copyrighted.
Oh. Even my terrible humming rendition is copyrighted?
Yes,
Yes,
everything is
it actually
copyrighted.
is.
Yeah,
It's the
you just
stupidest
terrible.
shit.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you. Now I will never get any ad money from those 5 views this will eventually get. Thank you.
Shut
His
the
5
fuck up.
shekels. He could have fed like a goat for that much.
Now, while we
Oh,
can't
okay.
have Lambert's humming, if we talk to my sponsors, well, we can have their songs.
Somebody
Yeah,
kick him, I'm
yeah.
busy.
I don't- Somebody with kicking rights kick him.
Globally,
I
dead
don't want
people.
to. I'm lazy.
Debbie, did Debbie just yeet before he got kicked?
No, I kicked him.
How do you like this, Jack?
Yeah, this is perfect.
Wasn't me this time.
God damn it, I can't
We're done.
find an...
This is just
I'm eating tape.
That's-
You
I
actual piece of
the only reason I can find this hilarious is this can't be blamed on me and can't be me. Oh god. I'm gonna have to mute myself. This is
Yeah, there is no... I can't find a picture like I want. It's kind of sad. So I guess I'll
What you
just
need?
have to describe it.
what you need.
Too late. It's done. So, Jackalore.
dun, 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 dun. No, damn it, wrong thing. What isn't copyrighted?
You may
Dun, 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 dun.
Various parts.
drag our hero out into this blank room. I believe he is under traveling. I will move him back to the players folder where...
Yep. If it's all right, I will note. I am actually going to keep an eye on the Nazis for a little while.
There's a lot of cursing and a lot of butthurt. They feel like they've been betrayed.
Ah, that's unfortunate. You shouldn't betray somebody. But yeah, it's betrayal. Little do they know. Well, really, they do. They should know. The biggest part was the whole trying to kill one of my children. The rest just made it worse.
When did they try to kill one of your children?
Blew up the fucking.
Ah!
Wait a second. These
Did they
guys are
really think I
familiar.
would keep letting shit happen after that? Fuckers.
I'm surprised there was anything. There wasn't after that for them. But yeah.
Hey.
BB likes second chances.
So,
I
Jackalore.
really hope you do.
You are in a dark room. You sense a figure near you and you can taste blood on your lips.
I start up awake. Look around. Activate all specs.
In the darkness, just around you, there's a high table and 7 figures around you in a semicircle. And an 8th figure in a different type of robes, standing not too far from you holding an empty glass bottle.
I stand up and bow to the assembled regents.
It's probably lords given your rank and fuck-ups.
Fair enough, lords.
William Durand of New Orleans. You have been accused of wasting clan resources and dragging the clan's name through the mud. You are here to answer to these charges. we shall start by you recounting your view of the events in question, since I'm sure you are well aware of what we are referring to. We have already reviewed witness testimonies from what other people were involved.
Would this be manipulation expression?
It probably would be after you tell me how you respond to this. You're gonna have to roleplay this out to some extent.
Yeah. Can I ask for hints?
From who do you want us to offer advice?
From the players, I assume.
Yeah.
You certainly can. Does anyone have any advice for him?
I'm not quite sure exactly what he's how deep this shit is and what's inappropriate.
Charges?
He framed the neonate for infernalism, stole clan funds centuries back to build the chantry in the first place, and made every clan hate the Tremere.
Oh, so like any other region.
Actually, most regions aren't even known about to the general public in a city most of the time, so it's kind of hilarious.
I mean, they
no,
know
this
that the
seems like
regent is in charge, I would assume, and that's who people generally go when they need to trade for thaumaturgical favors, but...
Yeah, it's just they're not usually particularly known about. They usually just stay there.
I don't know, I would say
I mean, this
they would
sounds
be
like
known
normal person.
about. Given that
That's just-
they're involved in the trading of magic, and most chantries do trade out artifacts a little more commonly than jackalars did. To remind people that, yes, we are horrible fuck-ups, but you still need us.
Okay, that's how it is here. I mean, makes sense.
Just trade candy to make people ignore that you're a horrible, horrible piece of shit. Well, from my point of view, at least as far as wasting clan resource goes, you have an easy out. Those resources weren't being used and weren't gonna be used for anything more useful than what you did with them, namely successfully stealing a note from werewolves.
That's a valid argument, yes. You're right.
Plus what Demi just posted in terms of got a node, rested it, made it into a chantry, fought the Sabbat with it, and have now a location that is very, very defensible and connected to other Tremere places as well.
I could use that. I could argue that the chantry is a good staging ground for in case any Sabbat actually do ever come back. It could be a good staging ground for a reconquest.
We'd prefer the
well.
city not fall again.
Yes.
But a valid argument. Up to a point. There's the question of your interest in certain books, which one, I believe, Wilfred brought to your attention.
Blame that there was a demon fucking about in the city that was a threat. Yeah. War crimes are encouraged. This is the Tremere. It's as long as war
Respond
crimes
in the text, please, Lambert.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's why we decide to move discussions like this to the text. Good. Jackalor, give me a perception empathy roll here. They're in the dark and they're wearing very bulky robes that are designed to conceal. So it's gonna be at a 6 with the aspects of essentially the base of 8.
I'll spend a point of willpower.
Okay. Okay.
No, please.
You get the feeling that something is going on. Maybe politics, maybe they need you for some reason, but it's almost as if they're looking for excuses to acquit you.
What was the second thing they were talking about again?
About your interest in the books that Wilfred brought to your attention.
Those books could be used to further Clantrimir's interests in taking care of other unwanted individuals, and they could be used to and they could be used to could be used they could be used to they could be used for research and into how to defeat other creatures of their kind.
That is a reasonable argument, given that it was indeed a diary of a demon hunter that just happened to have a few forbidden pieces of knowledge. Or let us say highly discouraged ones. Would you care to comment about the main problem, namely the political situation in New Orleans and how it came to such a point? Yes, but that subgroup is very, very, very elite. It really is. They're hunted. They're a secret society inside the Tremere.
I mean, the Order of the Worm is definitely legal, right?
I will stab you. Please. Give us your view on how the situation came to such a sad state of affairs.
Well, I had at the beginning, I had fears the city would turn anarch due to a certain suspicious individual having large amounts of influence in the politics. And it turned out that he was dabbling in things that should not be dabbled in. So my fears were were founded in fact. There were, of course, mistakes made, but it was done with not enough information at the time.
I see. What would you do differently if given another chance?
I would attempt to seek allies among the. Attempt to seek more allies among the different clans and independents before attempting any rash actions.
Very well. They nod towards the what you assume is an apprentice in the corner. Please wait in the side room while we confer amongst ourselves.
I bow gracefully.
I'm not sure you can bow very gracefully at -5.
Oh shit. I was wounded.
Oh yes, very much. But you will be led into a side room and you can confer for too long, like 10, 15 minutes maybe at most. And you're gonna get led back out. William Durand, given new information that has come into our possession, it is our view that you have not maliciously acted against the clan interests and that, for the most part, your actions were reasonable and the situation was more difficult than we initially believed. However, you will be watched carefully. Your rank will be reduced by 1 circle of mastery, and you will owe a major boon to the Brewhard Justicar, who has taken much valuable time to investigate the situation and brought evidence that helped clear your name to us.
Your decision is most just.
She is within this chantry. She will wish to speak with you before you return to me. This tribunal is adjourned. You may go. The apprentice will escort you to your rooms.
Yeah.
The apprentice will have carry him out. If necessary. And after you have had a chance to heal, at least the ones that aren't ag and have fed on blood, the Justicar will wish to speak with you as well. You can be escorted to a meeting room. Where she is gonna be waiting. So, walk into the room. She's just sitting there, waiting, watching, to see how you react to her presence.
I bow and take a seat. Well, I'll bow and wait for her to give me the nod to take a seat.
Just nods, motions for you to sit. So, William, I hear you are Alt, Jekyll. You're looking for the Alt button.
I wasn't touching
doing the
anything.
wiggle.
I wasn't touching anything. That thing was moving on its own.
Oh no, then it's someone fucking with you. I hear that you are one of the people who came closer than others to getting rid of the demon in New Orleans. At least the first one.
That an attempt was made, yes.
What are your thoughts on Vivian?
She is a conniving. She's a conniving and masterful manipulator.
Yes, I can't quite tell. She seems very, very sincere. And that alone in an elder is cause for suspicion. She reaches, like into a pocket, pulls out a letter. You can see that the envelope is open, but the piece of paper is inside. She places it on the table next to her. Take a look at this.
I take it and look at it, taking out the letter.
This was delivered to the sheriff. I believe several other kindred may have gotten copies and are just sitting on the moment. In a flowing script, it lays out a case that Florin was driven out of New Orleans by Vivian and an unknown demon master that Florin claims is running Vivian.
It would explain explain some things, yes.
Then again, it is information that comes, presumably, from the demon you met. So on one hand, we have a situation where we have a very unconventional but unquestionably skilled prince, even if she is new to the job. On the other hand, we have an infernalist that has seized the city while appearing completely innocent so far. How would you resolve this situation?
Investigate further and act upon if suspicion arises, if too much suspicion arises, but not openly, so as to not inform others that there was infernalist so high up in the chain.
It may be best to arrange a accident, that is true, if this turns out. She's rather perceptive, however, and that would be difficult. How familiar are you with mortal mage?
Should I roll intelligence occult?
You can, at 8. I mean, he only has 6, but he rolls like 12 dice. Well, 11, because you...
Well, I'm going to spend 1 willpower to ignore wound penalties.
You can just spend it for an auto success instead. It'd be profitable.
Likely more
Yeah,
profitable.
You rolled it wrong. You would have, before this meeting, been fed blood and given a chance to heal. So you are presentable.
Then I won't be spending willpower.
Okay. Then go ahead and re-roll properly. What's your special, please?
A kindred lore and creative. I don't think either applies.
No, they don't. You know that mages have multiple factions that change over the time. You are vaguely aware of a big divide between science and more traditional magic. And you get the basic idea that mages don't so much use formulae as these days redefine reality entirely in some way, but you wouldn't necessarily know the specifics beyond that. Like, you have a vague idea of what is actually going on.
I have some knowledge, but it's hardly that of an expert.
I see. Well, here's the thing. There was a second demon Vitruvian was also on the forefront of getting rid of, in this case permanently. And there are reports of mortal mages trying to get to that demon as well. And the elder who was attacked by them thinks they might have been a cult trying to take the creature for their own, but I'm not entirely sure myself. That will require investigation, careful investigation by someone who can hopefully counter some of what they would do. And it seems to me that I'm in the fortunate position of having recently bought myself a Tremere Elder.
Yes, it is quite a fortunate position to be in.
I need this resolved, but I don't need to risk your hide, be the first on a white horse charging in. I need you to figure out, with some other people I have managed to put in my debt, what the fuck is going on, investigate those mages in particular, and in general, feed me back information, in particular anything that might have any ties to the Infernal, as far as things that are going on in New Orleans are concerned.
I will gladly do so.
Excellent. I think saving you from a trip to Vienna in exchange for some investigative work is not too horrible, especially since we are talking about a rather significant year. The time frame might be significant given the depth of your debt, but at least you're not risking your hide outright.
Yes, it's
And
quite
you won't
fortunate
be
for me.
doing it alone, which is even better for you.
Can you give me information on who I'll be working with?
I believe Kurt has an interest in getting rid of the demons, but you're gonna be coordinating with him, but you're not gonna be working under him, per se. There's another Bruchhilder who is a rather interesting personality. You'll either like each other a great deal because you have strengths in entirely different areas and completely different approaches, or you'll hate each other with a passion. As for
I'll
the
see what I can do.
others, I will let you know more details as we go on, but I'd be happy to know that your clan in your absence has managed to start some sort of a tie with the Toreador, and the political situation has shifted. In particular, Halfdan is out of the picture.
That should make things easier, yes.
Yes, that is a question. How does William feel deep down inside
About what?
about the situation in general?
It sounds good. Promising, really.
I would be careful around your own clan. You will not know this, but the agent that was investigating your situation, I believe Aurelia was her name, managed to get herself tortured when a anarch was attempting to steal your body.
That asshole. I hope he burned.
I
Who knows what
believe.
happened to him?
Would you have mentioned it to the Justicar if she asked? I think you did. Epic.
It was never actually directly. Well, how I put it, if I remember correctly, was that he's in a very appropriate place these days.
Right. He Shouldn't be a problem, but if he shows up again, don't kill him. But I wouldn't mind if you were to accidentally torpor him and hand him over.
I'll do it gladly.
Do be careful, there is an elder gargoyle in New Orleans these days. Saw it in passing at Elysium.
Oh.
Yes. I don't think it knows about things you might or might not have done. But well, if he notices your little pet, he might get interested in you.
I'll make sure it doesn't come to that.
Good, good. Well, I will be in touch. The city has been a very interesting experience. I will give you the contact information for Venita. You can coordinate through.
Then so be it.
You may keep the letter. I've used Spirit's touch on it. It's just filled with adoration from a slave of the demons. She was smart enough not to write it personal. And gonna get up and go.
What was it you said? I got a call.
She said that you can keep the letter, that she has used Spirit's touch on it, and that it was written by an adoring worshipper.
Okay. I put the letter in my pocket.
I will be in the city for a little while longer, and I'm sure we'll get in touch again. I'll make sure to introduce you to the appropriate.
Thank you.
Hey. Demi.
Oh, hey.
Hey. On the night after you have somewhat recovered.
Let me just take 1 blood point away.
Save everyone.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm still single and ready to mingle.
Oh god, no. Go back! Go back!
You have the chance to have a long, hard thing to make yourself presentable. But, well, what do you do first things in the night after that happened?
I'm probably gonna take some extra time, just making myself really presentable and sort of straightening myself out from the night. And then, basically, as if nothing had happened, go into Elysium, aka my home.
When you move out into the common room, there's no one there except the Justicar. Casually reading a book, glances up when she sees you enter. Benjamin.
By the way, just after this night, because I did not remember her last night, do I realize that she's a Justicar now?
I think there probably would have been a Toreador with you, telling you that it's okay, that was a Justicar, there's no shame in this. Just trying to make you feel better.
I think that makes you feel worse.
It probably does.
It probably does to me, but whoever it was tried. Well,
Don't worry, you're gonna get some good news.
seeing the Justicar being there alone, I'm going to bow.
Please, sit. I have taken the precaution of asking your clan to occupy one of the other floors for the night, so we can speak in private.
What seems to be the issue, if there is one? Just
Well, the political situation in the city is rather interesting, and I was curious about your views on.
well, to be honest, I have arrived in the city recently, but my eyes have been open for the time. It's a lot more challenging than I expected previously, and a lot more in times disarray. Nosferatu, for example, were always uppity, but there was a limit. But from what I've seen it's a very large mishmash, if I may say it that way, of varying things. It's both interesting and concerning.
Yes. It is. Interesting is the right word. Still trying to take stock of all the factions. But it's almost like whenever there are two vampires talking together, they decide to form a faction.
It does seem like as that, in a way.
Well, it does seem that I have managed to create a situation where you won't have to worry about the Nosferatu anymore.
I beg your pardon, but if I may ask, on what? How
Well,
exactly?
me pitching in last night was apparently enough to push the prince over the edge, and they broke ties. The Nosferatu have walked out.
I'm going to take like 5 seconds, just sort of like thinking, like interesting. It's like interesting. I would have to, in a way, be thankful, of course. But the situation has gotten even more curious. For it seemed
Yes,
previously.
I know,
apologize.
that was my first impression as well, that they were close allies and they could get away with anything. Seems that's all over and done with. I do believe I saw that curious new Greek fire-like substance dropped on some bridges last night.
I just want to ask, out of character, can you out of character stop using telepathy 4 on me, please?
I gave her 6 politics. She's gonna milk this for all it's worth. I'm sorry.
Oof. How have the others reacted to this?
I'm not very familiar with your sheriff, but I think he might be about ready to break someone's face if I know his type.
I remember back to the time I met him in the warehouse, like, yeah, seems like that, doesn't it?
Also, be interested to know that some of your independent friends have taken the empty seat on the Primogen Council.
And who is the primogen of this independence?
Mitchell. She air quotes, the Ventru.
I don't remember if I actually met him. Was he there that one time
No.
in Elysium?
You haven't
When
met him. I don't think he's ever really been particularly in Elysium. He's
there
one
was
of the
only
people
that
keep
one time
missing,
where you called
so-
a talk. That's where I might have met him.
It's kind of an open secret at this point.
Yeah, it kind of is. But anyways, I see. Huh. Well then, to also notify, if it may concern you, me and I hopefully will put this to Clan Torda, are not planning to create any more troubles for the city and are looking for more prosperous relations. So to that regard, I wish for you not to worry much.
It was not my concern. My concern is the fact that there have been sightings of, at this point, 2 different demons in a short period of time in this city. So let us dispense with the charades. Have you seen anything suspicious? Has anyone been acting in a way that does not make much sense or suggests an ulterior motive?
Out of character, I gotta fucking remember. That one was... No. Yeah, the only person like remember being fully like suspicious was the whole Camilla thing. But I read her mind and that's not really connected. But I don't think I actually did meet anybody. Or if I did, should I roll an intelligence alertness? Because
I
don't
mean, this
remember.
is your chance to say, yeah, that elder has been totally acting suspicious. Fuck them. I mean, this is your chance to throw gasoline on a fire of your choosing.
That's fair. Thing is, though, I'm trying to be honest with the Archon is the problem.
She's not an Archon, she's a just car.
Right. Close enough, eh?
No, it's much, much worse.
While everybody here has their own rebellious nature, in terms of suspicions of infernalism, I can't really say somebody who is fully infernalist on that side. So, with a guarantee,
What do you
have to
mean? There are a lot of suspicion. A lot of people have people they suspect of being infernalist.
considering the state of the city and rumors that can bound out, and with the appearance of said demons, and presuming the city does know, I would not in any shape doubt that somebody would spread something.
I see. Why don't you tell me more about how the Nosferatu have been acting? It did seem rather brazen. Especially for people who could not be sure, as it turns out, of the prince's support.
On that regard, the Nosferatu problem, so to say, appeared before I appeared to the city. Of course, grudges and such. They started out more slowly, so to say, by simply defiling Elysium in times, throwing that liquid sewage around furniture. But as time went on and they seem to have gotten the memo that they have a more liberal output in things, they seem to have opened up. And, well,
Hmm.
And
Well, it does seem to be a curious timing, wouldn't you say, that they are reined in on the very night that I arrived.
indeed,
I think this would have continued well, if I wasn't here.
most likely, there was a point where I asked the prince even to simply put a word in for the Nosferatu to stop these things, because it was becoming a bit apparent. To which I received a notion that mostly of indifference, really. And if, and thus I have no other way to say, but if you had not appeared, I do believe that they would have tried grander schemes.
Hmm. Well, that is concerning. I do believe that I will have to have a chat with them then.
I believe I do not have to inform you of this, but from what I've heard, the sewers here seem to be very, very armed. Though you,
It is
though,
of no concern.
of course,
I have no intention of going down, and I'm sure you're aware how presence.
of course, of course. Just an inform.
Well, is there anything else you would wish to discuss? I've gotten my questions answered for the moment.
If I may wish to only ask of a previous notion that you have placed of the said demons infernals, is there suspicion that there are more of these demons, and perhaps one of us being infernalists in the city?
At the moment, but the situation has gotten unstable now that I've had to arrive here, and that being the case, I'm at least gonna give the whole city a.
Of course. But I do not have any further questions, and to not take up your time, Justicar.
Very well then.
Please do visit
Will-
Elysium again.
Ah yes, I will most likely be holding the meeting in Nosferatu. Doesn't have to be on the top floor.
We will arrange a appropriate meeting room for where you can discuss the meeting.
Night after tomorrow, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Very well then. I believe I need to track down a moment where I can discussion with your chef.
I'm probably going to, when she tries to get up, I'm going to get up as well and bow as she, leaves the area.
She just nods at you. Bacon.
Yes. Yes.
So, you and the Nosferatu travel back to the sewers. Pretty soon, Michelle just stops cursing and she's just stalking down the street, covering all of you with her obfuscate. Clearly mad as hell.
So, any further actions, or we just hold our land for a couple decades?
Well, first of all, we see what the gangrel want for us getting free hunting rights in the swamp. Kinda want.
I approve this plan.
After that, we see about moving the warrant elsewhere. I'm suddenly uncomfortable with so many people knowing the approximate place where we're holed up.
I think somewhere far away from the mages and closer to the center of the city. They will never expect us to be under them all the time.
Pines Village or Gentilly Wood sounds good to me. Nice and swamps. We have a great deal of work to do. Fuck all of it. Fucking bitch. Everything's exploding. We're supposed to put our asses on the line for her. Spying on shit that has other supernaturals. And this is what we get in return. This.
I think that she just underestimated our clan and thought that we're just little shits that would do everything that she wants.
Yeah. They've kind of been having that problem the whole time. It's became clear a long time that unless they make it clear we're not to be fucked with, everyone's can either ignore us or fuck us.
That's why I usually don't trust Bane or Keegan. When you can't see their craziness, they are just up to something bad.
Yes. That's a dog. Malkavians. Been involved with all of this crap from the start.
Out of character, I love that all the conclusions that my character make others and try to push to others is always blame the Malkavians, even when he likes Malkavians.
Although I say, how are you with securities?
Decent.
We're gonna rob a bank. We're gonna need cash for traps.
Oh, yeah. If you give me the correct tools, I can handle a bank or two.
You wouldn't necessarily be eyeing them at the moment. So, give me a luck roll, Epic.
Yay! I'm a distraction.
Yeah, you're a distraction. You wouldn't be watching them at the exact moment they're talking about doing all these horrible things. But you are gonna catch them buying power drills and other suspicious supplies, definitely. I can dominate. You can break into the vault. We have a couple of other kids that can be invisible on their own. We'll make the family outing. Gonna need duffel bags.
Also, escape vehicle?
The business district is not that far from the water, and there's bound to be a bank or two. Watertight bags will escape underwater. That, and we're able to obfuscate. Actually, no, better yet, let's just start scouting out the sewers near there. Why are we being stupid about it? Actually, that is Ventral Clay. She's gonna fuck with Andy's Clay. Yeah. I think we'll start with that. Let's scout out some sewers. See what banks. You have auspex, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna need cash, and sooner rather than later, but we should take a few days to scout out potential sites. See what the best location would be. Maybe we can find a decent bank that isn't in someone's.
Does the
Fuck.
prince owns anything? I mean, she has the tower. She should be rich, right?
What do you mean?
Uh, maybe we can try to steal from her just for, fuck you.
She's not gonna keep her money in a big pile. Honestly, if we're gonna fuck with her, we need to do this either very, very, very carefully so heist doesn't work, or we need to do this really fast and hard and just kill her. So heist wouldn't work.
Yeah, heist wouldn't work.
Nosferatu can't melt steel beams.
Are you sure about that? 9/11 was a Nosferatu job.
Excuse me, that was actually the Celestial Chorus. Wow. Not even from the mage players, huh? Wow.
I mean, I
Yeah.
got the
You
reference.
banned us from talking. That's a general thing.
Hmm. Okay. Vivian can probably figure out most of the traps. At the very least, if she observes us long enough going in and out. How do we dodge that?
Hmm. We need to have a way of changing the traps activation in random ways. Maybe some discrete code or something, like something based on the day of the year or something that say which traps will be activated, so she can't be sure of which ones are activated or not.
Hmm.
It would be hard, but I think if we manage to survive for a few months with extra cash, I probably can do it.
I'm gonna need to think about this.
Or we find some magical way to stop her from watching us.
Or we talk to Kurt.
Or we talk with Kurt.
Maybe we can convince him that she's driving much of the chaos that's happening here. Always seems to clench up when someone does something that will throw things in the air.
I think that maybe we should be careful with that. If we piss him off, I think it won't be good for us.
Honestly, I'm debating us picking out a small town nearby and just waiting until someone offs the bitch. Sooner or later someone will. That or we
I
go
think so.
anarch. Like, fuck it. Fuck this whole fucking system.
That is interesting. Never talk with any anarchs. Are they better
Alright.
than this
That...
Sabbath?
Oh, no, they're not. No, they're not. I'm remembering David now. They're really not.
If you want to live the Camarilla, there is the Sabbath, but I don't think it's the right choice.
Think we need you and I, not the kids, just you and I, go over, talk to Kurt, talk to his kids. Yeah, I think that's the best
Okay.
bet.
I think that we should do that before
think-
robbing the banks.
If we manage to piss off both Kurt and Vivian, we're kind of fucked. Otherwise, the little girl can go screw herself. I don't know. Did Kurt look particularly happy to you these days?
Not best one with that, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Okay, why don't we see about just taking an inventory of what our defenses are, going through everything, seeing if we can stay here. I mean, if the crazy mouth bitch wants to get at us, she probably can, or at least the traps won't stop her. So
Well, that's why we have the alligators.
we have one alligator.
Yet.
Yes, that's good. So I think she is gonna suggest that everyone go through their defenses and their resources and make sure there are no obvious weaknesses that someone could easily exploit. Try and make sure that the clan isn't vulnerable in some immense way. One of the fledglings did come with a chest full of guns.
I just realized that my character has contacts, but I never defined who the contacts were.
Random people somewhere.
Okay.
Okay. The next night, there's gonna be a message to be at Elysium at such and such time on the first floor. You and Michelle. And essentially, it's a lot of flowery language, but it boils down to be there or else. from the Justicar.
Can I do a roll to see how much blood do I have?
Okay, give me 1d10 plus 5. You would have certainly had the opportunity to hunt. At least a little. Okay, you have plenty. Well, I think it ends up being a case that for this night, making sure there are multiple escape routes and that they are sealable and trappable to lead you further into the sewers and then out somewhere else, presumably. And unless you have some specific preparation you want to make, Bacon, we're gonna skip to the meeting.
No specific stuff.
Okay. Well, this room is rather too big, but assume that it's a meeting room that's oversized for just the four of you.
Give him plenty of space, baby.
Mm-hmm. There do seem to be quite a few ghouls around. But they're gonna stay just outside the room, and they do appear to be heavily armed. Just in case you try to murder a Justicar.
Why would someone do that?
Gen 7.
The red list.
Details.
Sweet red list. I always wanted my name there.
Always say, Michelle, please sit. So, sits down. So do you. So, Michelle, you have heard about. The locals and else. So I'll deal with you in a second. Always say, this escalation seems to have happened after you arrived. To put it in terms you might understand, what the fuck are you doing?
Just went with what the clan said.
He just
arrived.
squarely threw it at Michelle.
He rotates
arrived.
towards Michelle. What the clan said. Do go on.
I just arrived. It seems that in this city, messing with the Torador is something normal. Never did too much outside of the sewers interaction in my other cities, so took the opportunity to try to learn.
Tell me about the unfortunate explosion at the Malkavian neonate's house.
I believe that he was doing some dangerous bombs and didn't know how to properly make them, and ended up exploding himself.
Manipulation subterfuge, son.
I actually have that.
Specialties?
Let's see if I took the broken ones. Manipulation, conjurer of facts, subterfuge, impeccable eyes.
Both,
Okay.
I suppose.
Conjurer of facts wouldn't apply because he's not conjuring facts per se, he's just misrepresenting, but impeccable lies would apply. I see. So, Michelle. Why did you start the war? Why did you try to start the war, I should say? Michelle just responds with, I didn't. Your clanmate says that it was you leading the charge, apparently. He was just following orders. I'm gonna ask again. Why? Just responds again, I didn't! I fucking didn't! How are we to resolve this? They seem to be both saying that they had nothing to do with it. I will say, where were you at that Malkavian neonate's house? The sheriff said that he saw you there.
I wanted a ride back home. I took a ride with the sheriff and one of his hounds that is also a Nosferatu. I had bad experience with trying to take a taxi and ended up finding some hunters, so I thought it was best to just ask for a ride back.
Okay. Bacon, give me another subterfuge roll. This one is at 5. Because you're making a lot of sense and you succeed on the previous one already.
Slightly less believable, but really good.
I'm gonna give both of you one chance to come clean about everything. Otherwise, I'm gonna force you to tell the truth with magic. And then if I find out that you have lied to me, I will kill you. I will say, let's start from the beginning, because I believe you may wish to revise some of your story, if not all of it. What did happen that night?
I give a quick glance to my Primogen.
She's just... You see a tremble. She's trying not to shake visibly. Go on. I do have other places to be tonight.
So I was talking with my clanmates, trying to understand the situation of the city, and I heard that this Malkavian was responsible by the death of one of the original Nosferatus of the city, and decided that as it was my duty to at least try to harm him somehow.
Who told you this?
It was one of the meetings with the Primogen and the others. They told everything about the city and all the people of interest.
Michelle is... I think she knows that you effectively killed her, so she's gonna try and roll Obfuscate 4 and try and make a run for it. Because it's only the Sabbat left for her now.
Why? I'm trying to take the fucking fault here.
You ended up accidentally killing your Primogen. It was amazing.
You moved all the fault away from yourself perfectly. She's clearly the warmonger here.
Yes, you are getting off scot-free. She
Yeah,
is about to die.
This is actually, given what she's done and everything, it's kind of, yeah. This isn't a bad thing for you, this is a well done.
I mean, it's obvious he did it by accident, I think, as far as I can tell from Bacon, but...
What's your
It-
wits
it-
alertness, Bacon?
With alertness. 7.
Okay, so she's rolling that versus a 7. Ooh. She needs 4 successes to completely vanish, I believe. Let's spend a willpower on this. She would have regained 1, but she immediately spends it. So she needs 3 on this roll. Okay.
Very precise.
You glance at your Primogen as you're talking, because she seemed really scared, really pissed. Mitra just immediately responds with, Karlak, the door. Jumps up, rushes for it. She's trying to scan the room with aspects.
I can't believe that I did politics.
Oh, Primogen under bus! Bacon, you have to explain this to your clan.
Which explains
yeah.
I'm now the Primogen. Anybody got objections?
I mean, he's completely lost. Like, he thought he was trying to take the fault for the clan, and somehow the Primogen escaped. And he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I thought Bacon was trying to actually put it in a position that he was taking the blame, but I did realize what he was actually saying was actually throwing the Primogen way under a bus. It was amazing.
She still has to roll
Yeah.
to try and get through the door, and given how many people are watching it, it's gonna require multiple successes. So another willpower point. She managed to make it into the hallway, and no one here has enough aspects to see her. Except Vivi. Somewhere
I
found this
might be watching.
2
It's
nights
possible.
later.
I was going to be keeping an eye on them to see if they were about to try and launch an assault, just in case.
Keep in mind that we did nerf how often you can roll clairvoyance, and you have a whole clan to watch, so it's pretty unlikely you'd be watching her specifically, especially as she's having a meeting
Nope.
with a Justicar right now. I would assume, given previous experience,
It
that you
just
would be...
depends on exactly when she got her.
It probably would have been mentioned before this that there is a meeting with the Justicar. So, I would say, given how Vivi is done in similar situations, you would be affording the Justicar her privacy.
I would be. That is very correct. So if I knew about it, the meeting, I wouldn't be watching this.
Yeah, you would have checked in on her before they got there, I would say.
Okay.
So, well, there's one more thing then. The roll to resist presence. And the summoning back.
Just go like, come back.
I think it was
Bad,
Charisma
no,
Subterfuge
something
for
like
this. Briefly, so 2. I would say there being a fuck ton of people who want to kill you there, and the fact that she just left that room would be enough to stop her from going back. It might prevent her from leaving the city tonight. Given that it's supposed to generally only get suicidally stupid on the higher level.
Yeah, 2 is they can be fairly,
Easily
thwarted
thwarted by
obstacles.
obstacles, definitely. So it wouldn't work. So let's see. Said it would be perception awareness with a base of 9 minus the successes roll. So this would be at 7.
Yes.
Okay, she knows what's happening. She would try to resist so she can actually leave. Okay, she's somewhere in the city. Okay.
Vivi, you now have to do a blood hunt by yourself.
I
No, we
do
can
have
turn
to
it into
play
a
spot on.
Okay, the Justicar is gonna inform you later that the Nosferatu Primogen is now gonna be outlawed as soon as the other Justicars give their nod in every Camarilla city. Essentially a
Including this
Camarilla,
one.
yeah, essentially a Camarilla-wide blood hunt. And if you could see your way to
Yay.
declaring it early in this city, that would be appreciated.
Will be declared immediately.
Well, red listed is that you're among the 13 most wanted. There's a step below that where you're just wanted in the whole Camarilla.
Yeah. That's a thing.
If she'd hurt the Primogen or tried to hurt the Primogen on the way out, then
I mean, might as well eat Andrew, right? He's right upstairs.
Okay, so the Nosferatu clan is completely dismantled because of their antics. Okay.
Question: why all the clans that I decided to go always get fucked? It wasn't my fault this time.
Fucking excuse me, Bacon!
I mean, it was quite a lot the fault of the Primogen being actually batshit.
That first
What
lie, you beat her by 1 success. The second one, you lost by 1.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
You fucking mad lad. I think with a blood count being declared on one of the people who selflessly defended Vivian during the taking of the city, we should take a break and this time actually split the recording.